Hello and welcome to the latest episode of The Boardmasters with me, Chris Mullins, and today I want to talk about inserts and basically ask the question, why on earth aren't they the first thing on a stretch goal list other than funding, really? Because they're so important. And as someone who is new to the hobby, again, if you haven't followed the channel, it was less than 2 years ago that I bought my first retail game. It was a little over 2 years ago that I backed the first Kickstarter campaign, which I'm Return to Dark Tower I'm still waiting for. So I had no idea about inserts. I always heard people talking about them. I backed campaigns that had inserts that I know, like Board Game Co. in his Should You Back It videos often highlighted, and was quite keen to highlight the fact that it had a game trays insert and things like that. Obviously, that didn't register with me. I didn't understand the impact it has on a game. And these are two very contrasting examples that I've been on the channel recently. Obviously, In Too Deep, the review was on the channel last Friday. Lizard Wizard, the gameplay, provided I get it edited in time, will be up this Friday. So obviously they're following on from each other on the channel. One has no insert, other than like there's a tray in the Kickstarter edition for the minis, which is good, but the rest of the game and all the other components are just bagged. You just stick them in bags and pile them up. Whereas Lizard Wizard has a fantastic insert, and it's really, really highlighted the difference to me, really. And I suppose, well, the thing that triggered me to do the video, actually, I saw a review of In Too Deep on BGG. I think someone gave it a 1 out of 10 purely because it didn't have an insert. Now, I mean, that is an extreme response to not having an insert. But I can understand where it's coming from in a way, because it's not just quality of life. I think there are two fundamental questions that I would probably ask with these two games in particular. If you were to ask me which game would I most want to play, I would probably pick In Too Deep, because the gameplay is so unique. I haven't played anything like it. I adore both. I think they're both fantastic, and I would always be happy to play either. But if I had to pick one to play, it would be In Too Deep. If you ask me which game am I most likely to play, undoubtedly Lizard Wizard. Because I know for a fact that you can say, shall we have a game of Lizard Wizard, and within 5 to 10 minutes, you'll play. Whereas In Too Deep, it's going to take you 20 to 30 minutes easily just to set the game up. It's a game you really need to plan to play. It's sort of the game that has to be the focus of the game's night. You can't just do it spontaneously and off the cuff. Whereas Lizard Wizard, obviously, it's substantial enough, in my opinion, to be the focus of a game night, and also can be something that you get out impromptu, because it is that quick. And following on from Lizard Wizard, we'll be playing Petrichor. Just this last week, I set up the collector's edition, and that part of it is a nightmare. Getting everything into that big insert box took well over an hour. I think an hour and a half to get everything set up. But in theory now, whenever I play Petrichor, it's going to be 5-10 minutes. You give everyone their tray of the units, get the board out, and shuffle the tiles, and you're basically there. That is a huge impact. Other games that I played, Dinosaur Island, Dinosaur World, Great Wall, fantastic games that just took so long to set up, and worth it, absolutely worth it. But only if you're planning the whole night around them, and it just limits everything you can do with it. Whereas a quality insert can get a game to hit the table far more, just because of how easy it is and accessible it is by virtue of that insert. And for the first time, seriously, it's got me really considering a 3D printer, because inserts are generally the main thing I see people using 3D printers for. Yeah, there are some quality of life components and things that people do, or their own minis and things, but inserts make such a vast difference to how easy it is to table a game that they're a must now. as far as I'm concerned going forward, I'm going to struggle to back anything that doesn't have what looks like a quality custom insert. It just can't be something generic or just in bags where you then have to spend 30-40 minutes getting everything out and sorted and shuffled and prepared. It's yes, if your game is ultra special, you can get away with it to an extent, but I mean, Gloomhaven is for so long been the top rated board game, and by all accounts it's a nightmare to set up. The Helper app mitigates that to an extent, but there's a reason why so many people have Gloomhaven and don't ever finish it, and it isn't always because a game group's breaking apart, but it's just the enthusiasm to get everything out and set it up, and it's something that is or should be a concern for every developer, in my opinion. I mean, I can understand the argument from a developer maybe that they've already sold the game, they've already had the money, they don't need to care. They don't. Why should they care how many times their games get tabled as long as people are still buying them? And you know that is a fair point. As long as people like the game and are happy to buy the games, then there is little incentive for them to do it. But in the same way, in this community, we've seen with Marvel Zombies and Come On over the past few weeks that goodwill is a very, very important part. And I did a video a few weeks back now about how good customer service and how vital good customer service is in this community where you've got lost pieces and broken minis and things, and how companies help with that, how companies set out their campaigns to benefit the two-way partnership between them and their backers makes a huge difference in this increasingly competitive market. And for me, an insert is an enormous quality of life improvement. It makes it so much easier to table games, makes games far more appealing to play, and I just think it really, really should come as standard that everyone developing their own games has it at least in mind as a stretch goal to offer a custom insert at the very least. But that's my thoughts on inserts. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And yeah, see you next time. So thank you for watching. Look after yourself, stay safe, and have a good one. Bye-bye now.